Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com, here with random reviews from the Overflow room. And today we're talking about, well, a bunch of composers, some obscure composers and very good composers. First, John McCabe, who passed away in 2015, the British composer, who is probably best known to most people as a pianist. He did one of the earliest recordings of the complete Haydn piano sonatas on Decca, and many other contemporary piano works as well, including some of his own. I have 3 CDs here of his music. His style was, well, it evolved, from an early, almost, sort of Hindemith-y kind of style, through serialism, through a grand synthesis of British influences, including like Tippett and Vaughan Williams and those people, and the serialists and other people. His style is very characteristic. In the Wikipedia article about him, they cite also Carl Amadeus Hartmann. It's very, very interesting. And some of his music is quite splendid. We have here on Hyperion 3 string quartets from 1979, 82, and 89. His quartets numbers 3, 4, and 5. These are, well, a little gnarly, but rewarding. His music's all rewarding. The interesting thing about him is even when his style is quite dense or not obviously melodically approachable, you always get the feeling that there's a firm hand at the tiller. He's worth spending some time with. This is with the Van Brugge Quartet on Hyperion anyway. It's very good. And then we've got, oh yes, this is lovely, his 4th Symphony of Time and the River. I really enjoyed this piece. And his flute concerto with Emily Bainon flute, the BBC Symphony Orchestra under Vernon Handley, also on Hyperion. Of Time and the River is in like 12 small bits, but it's a river. It flows. And it's about time. And, music that mentions time is always interesting because, one of the great challenges in writing large pieces of music is controlling time, controlling flow. And McCabe could do that. He was quite good at it. So this is worth considering. And then last but not least, his most famous disc, which was this EMI Classics thing that had these discs, the Chagall Windows. That was the piece that, first introduced me to his music. It's based on the Chagall windows in the hospital, the Hadassah Hospital Chapel, I believe, in Jerusalem. I think that's where they are. And then we have Notturni ed Alba, which is a beautiful song cycle for soprano and orchestra with Jill Gomez. It's about night and dawn in Latin, whatever. And there's some orchestral parts, and then the rest of it's sung. It's quite evocative. And his 2nd Symphony. And these feature the Halle Orchestra under James Loughran and the City of Birmingham Symphony Orchestra under Louis Frémaux. It's in the Frémaux box, the McCabe stuff. Anyway, he's a guy who I think is definitely worth listening to if you get a chance to sample and see how you respond to his music. Next, totally the opposite universe, Ginevra di Scozia. Good Lord, Giovanni Simone Mayr. Mayr was, Johann Simon Mayr. This guy was really interesting. Now, this was recorded live to commemorate the 200th anniversary of the inauguration of the Teatro Nuovo in Trieste, Italy. Okay. It's Arte Nova. It's on not Arte Nova. What am I talking about? It's on Opera Rara. That's the thing. It's one of those raras. And the rara, in this case, features, let's see, Luca Grassi, Elizabeth Vidal, Daniela Barcelona, Antonino Siragusa, Giuseppina Punti, Marco Lazzara, Aldo Orsolini, and Damiano Locatelli. Not to be confused with the famous Roman sheep's milk cheese, Locatelli Romano. Oh, it's delicious. Anyway, Mayr was Donizetti's teacher. He spent most of his career in Bergamo, where he established a conservatory and ran church music, and wrote tons of stuff. And he was a friend of Beethoven, or he knew Beethoven, or he followed Beethoven, and composed a lot of things in the style of Beethoven and Haydn. And he brought that German symphonic style to Italy. He's known as sort of the father of the Bel Canto movement. I find his music very, very interesting. I really do. It's an interesting combination of sort of German stuff. Although actually, I think he was Bohemian, but whatever. German stuff and Italian stuff. You get both. I've done some talks about him because he wrote some pieces where he filches Beethoven's music, and they're really funny. They're marvelous. He wrote a cantata on the death of Haydn, which he later remade as the cantata on the death of Beethoven, where he quotes some of their most popular works. It's absolutely delightful. And so this is like a big deal. And it's a fun opera, and there's a lot of screaming and yelling, and it's enjoyable. And I love all the opera rara stuff. I mean, because it's rara, it's interesting. So Mayr's a guy. He wrote the bazillion operas in his day. Then we've got Billy Mayerl, British light music from 1902 to 1959. We have Marigold, A Lily Pond, The Four Aces Suite from a Spanish lattice, Minuet by Candlelight, The Aquarium Suite, Autumn Crocus, Bats in the Belfry, Pastoral Sketches, Fireside Fusiliers, whatever, Parade of the Sandwich Board Men, and Waltz for a Lonely Heart, and Busybody. Oh, this is fun. This is the Slovak Radio Symphony Orchestra under Gary Carpenter with Andrew Ball, piano. I love all this light music. I'm a light music devotee. So this is, it's on Marco Polo. I guess it's on Naxos now. I don't know. But it's delicious. Absolutely delicious. And so that is three kind of weird things sitting in the letter M in the overflow room. We shall continue backwards through the alphabet anon. So keep on listening, friends. Thanks for joining me. Take care.